are taking some time to share some things in the Word of God to guide our thoughts in prayer.
So welcome to the gospel. On this channel, you are going to get soul-lifting message, faith content, and video that will help you to grow your spiritual life. Remember, don't forget to subscribe this channel for more new video updates.
We are God's watchmen. We have a responsibility to watch and pray. Jesus said to us, watch and pray. And we don't just watch. We watch for a reason. It's the Master who told us to do so. That's why we do it. And His plan is for us to execute the Father's will. He put us here for that. It's our job, it's our calling to execute the Father's will. And as I've said concerning the globalists, even though I don't like applying that word to them, because that word is too nice for them. I told you this. Leftists love all the nice names. They choose all the nice names. Everything they are not. They say they're liberal. They're not liberal at all. The most parochial, selfish despots in the world. They're not liberal. But they use that name. So when you are juvenile in political thinking, you assume they're actually liberal, as that word implies. But it means so many different things other than what that word means in its highest and most sublime definition. And then they say they are progressives, and they're the most retrogressive in the world. It's a problem. So they use all the nice names. But it's all about the deception. And that's why a lot of good people go in that direction. They just think it's the opposite of the other side. Here's the reality. If you understand the agenda, an ideology of the political left, you understand that they're not just what you might call socialists. No, they're 1,000 times worse than that. And maybe I shouldn't say worse, because that might imply that being a socialist is therefore essentially bad. And that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that on the side of the aisle, at the leftist ears, something really bad. And they don't think politics like you do. When you think politics, you want to join them because you think they're just on the other side. They're on the other side of the political right. They're not on the other side of the political right. We may say they are on the political left, but we don't mean on the other side of the political right. There are certain things that are consistent with those that are really on the left. And why we say they are on the left? You might say that might mean extreme left. Well, the left is governed by extreme left. Lies, and killings are two things that are consistent with them. Violence, lying and violence. They're full of deception. And they use all manner of tools at their disposal to lie, propagate falsehood with intimidation and violence. They have no restraint at violence. I told you riots are caused by them. They start out with a protest, but they know what they mean. It must end in a riot. So, and, we always have to distinguish between a real protest and a riot. You can protest against anything you don't like. That's not a problem. And those on the right often are pushed to the wall before they go on a protest. But their protests often end in arrests. You see, they're often arrested for protesting. They're often resisted for protesting because they don't belong to the political left that actually organizes riots, which they call protests. But when they go on a rampage, nobody arrests them. That's how you know the difference. They can have a violent spree without any government bringing them to justice because they're sponsored by the deep state. Always sponsored by the deep state. And the deep state is headed by Satan. He's the god of the deep state. And I can show you in the Bible, Jesus said so. So let me read it to you. St. John's Gospel, chapter 8. Let's read from verse 44. The words of the Master. Hear what he said to them. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Violence. And abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. That means it's a native liar. And you see it in the consistency in various nations, whether they are in office or they're not in office. If they're in office, they use their power to intimidate and kill those who resist them. If they're not in office, they go after those who are in office, resist them with all kinds of violence. That's the way they are. So no godly person remains in such a party because it's not a political party. Maybe you used to think it was a political party. No, that ended a long, long time ago. It's since morphed into what it always was: a platform of violence and deception. And when you don't agree with those two things, they kick you out. You can't try to be good in there. They'll kick you out. Because you must accept the ideology of violence and deception. Because it's about gaining power at all costs, even at the cost of other people's lives. Hear the speeches made by some leaders of the Labour Party in the United Kingdom recently, with pretentious ferocity, a determination of evil, while they accused others and insulted the dignity of many others. And then when violence follows as a result of their rhetorics, and they say they don't know how it came about. No, because they're sponsors of violence and deception. And these are not the kind of things that young people should be listening to. Very uninspiring leaders. Very uninspiring. They hate debate. Uninspiring. So when you are involved in a group, or you're invited to a group that's interested in violence and deception, you shouldn't join them. Don't be a part of that. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Look at it. Chapter 5, St. Matthew's Gospel, chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. They shall be called the children of God. Peacemakers. Those are children of God. Why are we praying for peace in the world? Because we're children of God. It's what the Lord expects us to do. Today, I really want us to pray for the leaders of nations. I mentioned something yesterday about